The concept of a satanic New World Order has been a topic of discussion among conspiracy theorists for decades. According to this ideology, a group of powerful individuals and organizations are working together to create a one-world government that would control every aspect of people's lives. Recently, some proponents of this theory have been arguing that the Satanic New World Order is using climate change propaganda to oppress us. This essay will explore this claim and examine the arguments presented by its proponents. Proponents of this theory argue that the idea of climate change is being used as a tool to manipulate public opinion and implement policies that would lead to a loss of individual freedoms. They claim that the Satanic New World Order is using climate change as a pretext to introduce a global tax, which would be used to fund their nefarious activities. This tax, they argue, would be used to control people's behavior and limit their access to resources, effectively creating a system of oppression. One of the main arguments presented by proponents of this theory is that the climate change agenda is being driven by a small group of powerful individuals and organizations, including the United Nations, the World Bank, and the Rockefeller Foundation. They claim that these organizations are working together to create a new world order in which they would have complete control over the global economy and politics. Climate change, they argue, is just one of the many tools being used to achieve this goal. Proponents of this theory also point to the fact that many of the policies being implemented to address climate change, such as carbon pricing and renewable energy targets, are having a disproportionate impact on low-income and marginalized communities. They argue that these policies are being designed to benefit the wealthy and powerful, while hurting the most vulnerable members of society. For example, the introduction of carbon taxes has been shown to increase the cost of living for low-income households who are already struggling to make ends meet. Another argument presented by proponents of this theory is that the climate change agenda is being used to justify the introduction of surveillance and control mechanisms. For example, the use of smart meters and other technologies to monitor energy consumption is being promoted as a way to reduce carbon emissions, but proponents of this theory argue that it is also a way to gather data on individuals and control their behavior. They claim that this is just one example of how the Satanic New World Order is using climate change to erode individual freedoms and create a totalitarian state. Despite the arguments presented by proponents of this theory, it is worth noting that the overwhelming scientific consensus is that climate change is real and is caused by human activities, particularly the emission of greenhouse gases. The evidence for climate change is overwhelming, and it is not a topic of debate among reputable scientists. Furthermore, the policies being implemented to address climate change, such as the transition to renewable energy and energy efficiency, are designed to benefit the environment and public health, not to oppress people. In conclusion, while the idea that the Satanic New World Order is using climate change propaganda to oppress us is a fascinating conspiracy theory, it is not supported by evidence. The scientific consensus on climate change is clear, and the policies being implemented to address it are designed to benefit the environment and public health, not to control people's behavior. It is essential to approach this topic with a critical and nuanced perspective, recognizing the complexity of the issues involved and the need for evidence-based decision-making. Ultimately, addressing climate change requires a collaborative effort from governments, civil society, and individuals, and should not be hijacked by conspiracy theories and misinformation.